Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Vollmer. And today is something a bit different. Today is all about tech at Vollmer and Mildenhall. And basically, some time ago, one of my subscribers, I can't remember for the life of me who, had asked me about how I go about making my videos here at Mildenhall and Vollmer, and the sort of things that I use and do to create my videos. So today we're just going to go through a few bits. We've got quite a selection of bits that I use for filming, and you don't need them all, but I'm going to show you what I use and see if it helps any of you guys. But before we start, I have another thank you to do. I'm always appreciative of people and who do nice things for me, and it's always good to say thank you to people. And today is another video in point. Last week I think my last video I did, it was about my birthday, and I said to everybody thank you so much for your birthday wishes and things like that. And since last week, I've been at work, and I've had a bit of a bad week at work. It hasn't been really the best weeks I've ever had at work. It's been a bit frustrating at times, so I decided that yesterday I was going to pop in and see Paul at the Autumn Model Centre. I thought I'm going to have a little bit of retail therapy today and see what he has for me, because I had a few bits to do on the layout that I wanted to try and get done. It was nothing terribly exciting in truth. All I did is buy another pack of fencing, which I had bought previously, but I just wanted to complete the end, and frustratingly enough, I'm 2 stretches short of completing all of the fencing around Vollmer. However, whilst I was there, he said, oh, you can have this, the fencing, for £10.25 I think it was that I paid for fencing, but you can have this envelope for free. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it turns out that one of my YouTubers, as he calls himself, Dave the Friendly Scotsman, had, so hello to Dave the Friendly Scotsman, and thank you, had sent an envelope. And he sent it to the Autumn Model Centre, which in turn Paul had given to me. And I was actually really gobsmacked, because I really wasn't, I'm not expecting anything, and like I said, I don't do it for money, I don't ask for anything, and I am so fortunate to have such generous people who think of me and do such lovely kind things for me. So what was in this envelope? So Dave the Friendly Scotsman sent me an envelope, and in it contained this. And this is a 2020 calendar for modern traction, and on the back has got all the pictures of all the pictures that are in the calendar, which I'll just show you. So he sent me this as a birthday gift. That's not all that was in the envelope. Also in the envelope was the British Railways book number 4 for electrical multiple units 2020. So this was also part of the deal. And if that wasn't enough, there was some more. There was also 2 DVDs. And these 2 DVDs I haven't got round to watching yet. So I just haven't had the time yet. But I'm on holiday for the next 2 weeks, so I'll have plenty of time to catch up with these 2 DVDs. So Dave the Friendly Scotsman, thank you so much. It's so much appreciated and unexpected. So thank you so much for that, and I really, really do appreciate it. So on with the video. And like I said, today is all about tech at Vollmer and Mildenhall, or Mildenhall and Vollmer, whichever way you look at it. I have no preference. I don't discriminate between Vollmer and Mildenhall. They're all the same to me. So this coincides with something that I got this week, brand new. And my layout isn't the biggest layout in the world. And I've always said it's good to be different. And I like to be different, and I like to try and do different things that nobody has tried or nobody necessarily has on their layout, or something that's a bit different. Because I always think when you do something a bit different out of the ordinary from everybody else's layout, it just makes your layout stand out a bit. And that's just my own personal thing. And I've always done that with all my layouts, that I try to do something that's really kind of a bit different and out there from most people's. So what I've never actually seen anyone use. I could be wrong, but I personally haven't seen somebody use it. So I'm going to just go through some of the tech that I use here at Mildenhall and Vollmer. So this is something that I'm going to be using today, but I don't really use that often. I have used it actually more for live streaming, and this is my old iPad, which is sort of dying to death of me, to be honest. It's seen better days, and it's one of the original iPads, but it still has its functions. It's something that I've been using now for some time. I tend to sort of have it on in the background to sort of when I'm doing live streaming to keep up with the chat. So I'm also going to be using it today actually, because I was actually going to use something else, which I will take, which I'll show you, which is my bridge camera. Now my bridge camera hasn't really been used in an awful long time. This bridge camera was really mainly used when I had Behringer districts, and this was the camera that I was using at the time. I used to record off of this camera. And it used to it was a really good camera, gave good pictures, but some people did say when it autofocused, you could hear the motors inside it kind of going click, 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 click as it was adjusting. So I don't necessarily use this as much as I used to, but I do have it to use, and I was going to use it today to demonstrate my phone, which is why I'm now going to be using my iPad, because I haven't got the batteries for it. They're just not charged up enough in time. I forgot to charge them, so we won't be using this camera, but we'll be using the iPad instead to demonstrate my phone, which I'll show you the phone that I use. Also that I use on my layout is a tripod. Now this is a mini tripod, and it just sort of dangles like that, but you can adjust it, and you've got the adjuster here, and that adjusts the height depending on how much you twist it. So it can either sort of stay fairly upright, or it can stay flat like so, and that depends on this little adjuster here. So if you want to raise it, you just adjust it accordingly, and then this little adjuster here will adjust the head, and the camera just sits on there, and then you can just point it down or up or move it left and right, so that it adjusts the angle of the camera. And I find this one particularly useful to sit on the actual layout itself, because my tripod, which I'm currently using right now to film myself, is actually quite big and bulky, so it's not really good, and just won't sit on the layout. So sometimes just using this little one is enough to just pop on top of the layout to get some different kind of camera angles. Something else is I have, this is my little cam truck. Now this particular camera isn't my original camera. I did have a Polaroid Cube, but that died of death on me, and also it had a lot of trouble connecting to the app. It just took forever to connect to the app. It just frustrated the end of, frustrated me to bits, because it was just such a nightmare trying to get it to connect, and sometimes it just connects really easily, and sometimes you could spend 20 minutes trying to get it to connect. This particular cam was one that was recommended from a fellow YouTuber, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to recommend it, because it's pretty pants, to be honest. I don't like it. It does a job, and I have used it to film it, to film with it, and to film the train going, the camera going around the layout, but it's really, the quality of this particular one is just particularly rubbish, to be honest. I don't like it. But it was cheap and it was recommended, and I just thought, well, I'd give it a go and see what happens. Something else that I use is this, and I will quickly undo it. Something that I have, it's not really used for the layout as such. However, I do use it because it is also part of me going out and about. This is an Anchor power bank, and this thing basically is used as a supplemental battery. So basically, for those of you who don't know what a power bank is, you kind of charge this up, and then when you're out and about, just keep it on you. And if for whatever reason your phone should die on you, you can just plug this into your phone, and it will restore and charge up your phone, so you're not without any power. So it's called a power bank. And I've used this on a couple of occasions, especially when I'm out and about. It's like, for example, when you're out at Westbury or somewhere like that. I've done some filming at Westbury, or you do some filming elsewhere, Clapham or wherever you happen to be. Sometimes if you get caught out and you've got one of these, then at least you can still carry on filming and kind of use it to get you by, as it were. So this is something else that I use. Now, something that I do have here, which is totally invaluable to me, and I use this absolutely everywhere and use it all the time. Whenever I make a video, this gets used, and this is an absolutely superb little piece of kit, and I would highly recommend this. And this is a hard drive. Yep, you've guessed it, that is a hard drive. It is absolutely diddy, it's tiny, and it's absolutely brilliant because I can fit that into my purse. And when I'm out and about doing filming or whatever like that, if it's a case that you are, for example, away and you haven't got time to get it onto your laptop, or you have got your laptop with you, you can just still get it off your phone and store it onto this hard drive. This hard drive is 64 gigs and it's absolutely massive. I use this all the time. And even just because when I record, and once I finish recording on my phone, I will transfer the the information that's on my phone onto my computer via this hard drive. And you have two little slots, and as you can see, if I just pull that one out, you've got a little one which is a mini USB. If you go the other way, it's the full USB, and that goes into your computer, and that automatically recognises the information on there, and then you can just basically transfer the information off your phone straight onto your computer without having to do any mucking about like I used to. I used to have to go through a program called Dropbox before, and it just used to take forever because you're waiting for it to download onto that, and then you've got to download it back onto your computer and stuff like that. But this little thing is absolutely superb. It's not very expensive. I can't remember exactly how much it was because I have had it at some time now. My brother recommended it to me, and I cannot be without this. This little item is just an absolute, must in my book. The next thing I have to show you is something that was given to me as a gift for my birthday. Not this year, last year in fact. And I did come across it. I don't really use it a huge amount. It's more used for out and about, but I have used it on the layout, and I will be experimenting with it some more on the layout. And this is called an iSteady mobile gimbal. The whole point of the gimbal is basically, I was talking to my brother about this, about some of my work that I've been doing out and about on the trains and filming whilst I've been out. And the gimbal is used to basically, like it says on the box, to steady the camera. So you haven't kind of got this jerkiness and this kind of shakiness, and it kind of, so that's the whole point of the gimbal. But I have used it in and around the layout before to test its capabilities around the layout. And I will show you what it's about, because I do have it here. I did actually charge it, so hopefully I will take some footage with it and add it to this video, as well as the next item, which is the whole real point of this video really. So it comes in this case like so, and this is how it comes, and that's the gimbal. And basically you place the phone in here, and you have to calibrate it and everything like that, and it's quite tricky to get used to. And that's also the extension. So if you want to just get that little bit of extra length, you've got an extension that you can screw onto the bottom of the gimbal. I've used it a bit. I must admit I haven't used it a great deal because I guess maybe as I'm getting older I find it a bit more complicated and difficult to get used to these things and using these things. And so I'm not 100% au fait with it, if you know what I mean. It takes a bit of getting used to on my part, and also to get used to the functions and things like that and what it can do. I did use it briefly at the Oxford, when I did my Oxford trip, and I found it to be really, really good. The only downside I found of it is it connects to Bluetooth via my phone, and then you can run it via the Bluetooth, the functions on it. However, I do find that it tends to use up the battery a lot, and this is where you need a good camera with a good battery. And I decided that not to use the Bluetooth capability between the two, because I found that it was just eating up too much of the battery. And then obviously by doing that, obviously you're not getting as much footage. So I decided when I was at Oxford that I was just going to carry on as is. But it definitely has its uses, and I definitely will be trying to experiment with it a lot more in the coming year. Obviously, because we're into winter season now, I won't be going out and about so much. So it's going to be one of those things. Now, the whole crux of this video was because I received a camera, and I purchased a camera, and it's something that I've never seen anybody use. But it was a thought, and I thought this could work. It might not work, but it could work. And I got it via eBay, and it's called an endoscope camera. Now, if you don't know what an endoscope camera is, it's basically a little mini tube camera which a lot of people use for diagnostics, and in terms of like you want to stick the tube through a pipe to see why it's blocked, or maybe you want to put it in maybe an engine block to see if there's a problem. If there's a problem with the engine, you want to check and try and work out what the reason is. And people use these cameras for things like that. They use it in hospitals as well, and it's something that I thought I would try. I found this on YouTube. And this is a full HD version. You can get a 720p one, which is cheaper. And this is what it is. And an endoscope camera, by its nature, has a cable attached to it all the way through, because obviously you feed the cable in and you feed it through. And obviously that's why it's always got a cable. So you'll never find a wireless endoscope camera, because obviously that's the whole point of it. You know, you need to feed the wire through, the cable through. Now, what it comes with is a semi-rigid cable, which I've had a little go at it, just testing it, and I'll show you what it is. Now, I was a bit worried when I ordered it, to be fair. It was a bit of a punt because I really wasn't sure how big. Sometimes you kind of buy stuff online and you see the picture and you think, oh yeah, that looks right. And then you get it home and then the size is either way too big and it's nowhere near what you're expecting, or it's way too tiny and you think, okay, it's not going to work at all. And actually, when I got it, I was very pleasantly surprised at the size of it and what it could possibly do, the possibilities that it could do for me. Now, the great thing about this cable is, if you think of, I don't know if any of you used Shaper Sheet. It's Woodland Scenic Shaper Sheet. It's kind of like a semi-rigid kind of thing that you bend the sheet to. It's flat sheet and then you bend it to whatever shape you want, and it kind of keeps its shape. and that's what this cable does. As you can see, look, you know, this is how it is. So you can bend it to the shape you want, and it will hold its and maintain its shape. The actual, if you can see the camera, that's how small it is. It's actually smaller than a penny. And it's also got 8 LEDs attached to it via this little remote control. So you basically use this slider to adjust the brightness, so you can use it in certain conditions, in low light conditions, to illuminate the area which you're trying to see. Then you have this end, which is a USB end, which goes to this block here, which is a USB transmitter. And this is what transmits the signal to your phone and the app via the phone. Now when you get it, you need to charge it up, which is what I did, which is what I've done. And you've got a big button there, which is the button for the power on, and then there's a charging button, I think, as well. But I haven't really kind of fully played with this, but I'm intending to take some footage of it today and demonstrate it to you, and what the possibilities are, what you can do with this thing. So like I said, you won't find a wireless one, but there's enough cable there that you can probably manipulate it and get into some real light little nooks and crannies of the layout. And like I said, I could probably get this onto the platform and things like that. So we're going to be experimenting with this camera today. And this will be the main one. Now, if any of you would like me to go further with the iSteady mobile, then by all means do ask, and I'll try my best to show you. What I'll do is I'll probably try and see if I can get some footage of that today as well, and demonstrate that to you as in what it can do. However, there are some really good reviews on the iSteady mobile on YouTube, which people have done, which will probably be better qualified to explain rather than me. However, I have to agree, it does have its limitations, but I am happy with it, but I do need to investigate it further myself. And then last by no means least is my laptop. And obviously you need some way of transferring the information from your camera or from your devices onto your laptop, and then obviously uploading it to YouTube. You can upload directly from your phone if you wish. It's not really my preferred choice because I always like to edit it. I always find it really tricky to edit things via the phone. But I do use my laptop to then transfer the information that I need from the laptop and upload it onto YouTube so you guys can view it. So this is my Galaxy Samsung S6. So it's not the newest phone out there, but it still does a grand job for me. And I'm just going to connect to the, now there's a couple of things here. There's a Home Studio, which is basically the app that I need to use the iSteady mobile, and the HDC and the InkSam. Now the HDC is the one that was recommended when I bought the endoscope camera, but in the instruction booklet it said to use the InkSam. Now the InkSam I've actually downloaded, and that's the one I've actually sort of played with a bit. So we're just going to have a little play with that and connect that up and see how we go. So what I need to do first is switch the Wi-Fi on, and that will hopefully connect to it. So let's just see if this works. So that's the Wi-Fi on. Sorry, bear with me a minute whilst I should have actually just plugged it in first, but I don't know why I didn't do that. So I've now just plugged that cable in, and I'm just going to switch it on. And as you can see, it's going to be coming on. 1, 2, 3, I think that's what it says. I think you have to hold it down for a few seconds. And as you can see, the LED is on, but you can see you can adjust the brightness and switch it off. So there you go. So that's doing with that. and I now need to connect via the settings. So if I go to connections, so bear with me a minute, I'm just going to go into my connections. It's just sort of searching, and you can see it says InkSam on it. So if I go to that, it says it's connecting. Yeah, that's just fine. So it just says connect. So it's now it says it's connected. So now what you do is you sorry, bear with me. I'm just trying to do this all via the. I'll just close this all. Now if I go to InkSam, hopefully, oh look, there you go. It's already showing. So if I show you the picture now, you can see that I'm showing you the picture of that. So you can see that it's actually working. So it's connected straight away. So that's how it works, and like I said, it's all done wirelessly because it's transmitting the signal through that box. So we're now going to try and do some testing on the layout and take some footage, and then I'll show you what we do next. So now I've recorded all the footage that I needed to record. I need to get the footage off the phone, and like I said, I've got this little gadget here, and that's going to transfer it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in here to the bottom of the phone, and as you can see, the phone automatically recognises that, and I'm just waiting for that to do its thing. Now I go to the phone, I go to the DCIM, which is where the camera is stored, go to camera, and then we have a number of files here to be transferred, which basically I then highlight all of the ones that I want to transfer. So that would be that one, 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 that one. And then you go to, in my case, I don't just move them. You've got the option to move them, but I go to copy, because then I can leave it onto the phone. And it says copy to disk, so that's the phone and that's the disk, which is what I'll copy to the disk. And then I created this folder called transfer, and I put it in there, and then I copy items to here. And then what it does is it quickly copies all the items across, and then once it's done, then I can transfer it over to the computer. So the next thing to do is to transfer the information from this to my laptop, and all I do is I just plug the USB end into the side of the laptop, and it should recognise it. As you can probably hear, it's just done its little thing so that it recognised it. It will come up with a little pop-up in a minute. There you go. And now I've used that folder transfer, which is just over there, but what I'm going to do with this is just open it up, because I've still got information from it from the last time I did the video. So rather than copy those files across again, I can just delete these, because I've now known that the video was uploaded successfully. So basically then I'll just transfer just the stuff that I've done today. So what we can do here is basically I'll do a copy and paste, which is what I always do. And the reason for doing the copy and paste is that I've got the originals backed up on the phone. Whereas if I just move it all, I will cut it and paste, and then there's a problem, then basically I can't go back and re-download it. So that's why I always make a copy of it, and then once the copy is fine, then I can just delete the backup, if you see what I mean. So that's just going to do its thing, and that will take a few seconds. So as you can see, my file is now over here. It's now copied successfully over here. Well, I say successfully, we just have to hope that it's done. Now we've gone on to this program which I use, which is called Power Director, and then I need to import the files that I need. So this concludes the end of the video, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. My apologies if it's a little bit long-winded and if it's not really your cup of tea, but hopefully you'll enjoy some of the shots that I took with the endoscope camera and with the gimbal. And that gives you a rough idea of the sort of shots that you can get with those items. I still have to experiment more with the endoscope camera to get some better shots, but hopefully you'll get a rough idea what it's like, and if it's something that you're interested in, then obviously you can check them out further. So until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Vollmer. Goodbye.